AITA for refusing to babysit my niece and leaving her with a stranger instead?
I, F24, am an aunt to my 1-year-old niece Ava. My sister and Bill live close to me, so I babysit for them sometimes. They don't pay me, but I'm happy to do it anyway. On Friday was their anniversary and they asked me 3 weeks in advance if I could babysit. I provisionally agreed because I had nothing else planned. My plans changed, however, when some of my old college friends told me they were stopping by my town on Friday. I haven't seen them in nearly 3 years and really wanted to see them. I gave my sister 5 days notice that I could no longer babysit on Friday, and that she should make other arrangements. She didn't respond to the text, but she read it, so I assumed it was okay.
On Friday, however, sister stopped by my house with Ava. I was confused and asked why she was here. She told me she was leaving Ava with me as originally planned. I said again I was busy. She replied that family is more important than my silly college friends and I should step up to my responsibility as an aunt. Before I could protest, she bolted back to the car where Bill was and they drove off, leaving Ava with me. I tried to call her after she left, but she had her phone off and none of my calls went through. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't leave Ava alone, but I also didn't want to cancel my plans. There's no other family members who live near me, however I do have a friend, Jade, who lives near. She is good with kids and does babysitting as a side hustle. I called her and explained the situation, even offering to pay her to look after Ava, but she was understanding and said she'd do it for free. I thanked her profusely and dropped Ava off.
I texted my sister to say I'd left Ava with Jade and to collect her from her house. It's relevant to the story that neither sister nor Ava know Jade personally. My sister didn't respond immediately, but after about 2 hours she started spamming my phone. I turned my phone off, as I was already out by that point anyway. They picked up Ava later that evening and she was perfectly happy. However, my sister and Bill are furious at me for dumping Ava with a stranger. Even though they know Jade is a trusted friend of mine, they accused me of endangering my own niece. Many other family members have sided with them and I've been getting angry texts all weekend. I really don't know what to think. I felt like I acted as best I could given the circumstances.
AITA? NTA. Please text back. I did you a favor not calling the police when you dropped off your child, knowing I was about to leave the house. Next time, I'll just call the police so your child won't be traumatized by being babysat by one of my friends. As for your family, I would send a group text. I had plans on X night. My sister showed up with her baby. I said I couldn't watch her, and my sister drove off, then shut off her phone. What my sister did was reckless. Her child isn't luggage. She's a person. If anyone thinks it's okay for her to drop her child off when you tell her you can't watch her, and then shut her phone off, I'll let her know. That way you guys can always make sure your plans are free, knowing she can come by at any time, and then shut off her phone, so you can't reach her in an emergency.
NTA. Reply to all family messages. I stated I was unavailable. She dropped her at my doorstep and ran back to her car, then refused to answer my calls. She is lucky I left her with a friend instead of reporting her to CPS or the police for abandonment.
Okay, what's with the other family members piling on? None of them were there, so they need to zip it. You gave your sister notice. She dumped Ava on you knowing you had plans. She decided her life is more important than hers, and even more important than her daughter's. NTA. And don't babysit anymore. NTA. Your sister told you. She told me she was leaving Ava with me as originally planned. I said again I was busy. She replied that family is more important than my silly college friends, and I should step up to my responsibility as an aunt. Her responsibility is to be a parent and adjust her plans accordingly. This is on her, and I would refuse any more babysitting until she realizes she must respect you as an adult, not as a free babysitter. As far as the other family members who have now joined in to voice their petty opinions, just reply and let them know they appear to be extremely vested in this childcare, so they can start babysitting. Your sister is at fault for involving other family members. Shame on her for that.
NTA. I could understand if you told her the night of, but you gave her ample notice. If she wanted to be able to pick who watched her child, she should have done just that when you told her you were unavailable.
NTA. It's time to tell your sister that you don't have a duty to babysit and that her behavior was so offensive that you will no longer babysit for her for free, and the next time she does something like that you will not only call the police but that you will no longer babysit for her at all. Too many parents have decided that babysitting is somehow a family responsibility when it is not. If my brother ever did that to me, I would never babysit and he would only get a break when I decided that I wanted to do something fun with the kids.
Sis seems entitled.
NTABC. You already told them that you were no longer available and she chose to ignore it. NTA. Plenty of people have to entrust childcare to someone they and their kid don't know personally. So that's really a non-argument. Your sister was a total awe to ignore your text completely and then just assume you'd drop your plans because she tried to shame you into babysitting. And she was really an awe to just cut and run despite your protestations. You gave her plenty of notice and she just didn't want to bother. It was really nice of Jade to help you out. I'd still pay her or at least give her a thank you gift. And frankly, I'd be unavailable to your sister to babysit for a while going forward. NTA. You said no. It sucks for them. But that should have been it. Honestly, you should have just called the cops. Let the parents pick up their kid at the station. You did them a favor by making other arrangements. NTA. It's fairly ironic that your sister criticized you about needing to step up to your responsibility as an aunt, when it came to expecting you to cancel your plans, given that she chose to ignore your messages because she and her husband weren't willing to step up to their responsibility as the child's parents by canceling their own or making other arrangements. You displayed more maturity and resourcefulness by finding a friend to look after your niece last minute than her own mother did by dumping her off, running away and assuming that you would just do it if she created a situation where you wouldn't have a choice. Tell your sister and anyone defending her to grow up, because if she and your Bill are going to have a child, having solid arrangements to assure that child's health and safety should be their top priority, not yours. NTA. You provisionally agreed and added the caveat that your availability could change. You notified your SIL 5 days in advance. She read your text. They dumped your niece off anyway, knowing full well you were not available. You have a trusted friend that was available. You SIL is gaslighting everyone. You should set that record straight. And tell your brother and SIL that unless she comes clean to everyone that she knew 5 days in advance you were no longer available, the free babysitting service is shut off. Once you were no longer available and gave ample notice, she should have made other arrangements. It does not matter what event takes away your availability. Your SIL is the awe here. Edit. Spelling. NTA. You were actually much kinder and more careful than they deserved you to be. I'm stunned that they just dumped their kid on you and decided their night was more important than yours. F them. Your sister abandoned her daughter on your doorstep and ran away. You should have called the police and CPS on her. NTA. There is a nearly 100% chance that your sister has told other family members a decidedly one-sided and enhanced version of what really happened. To help counteract that, I would take to social media, whichever one most of your family are on, and post the correct version of events. I would also end with that you will never babysit for them again, and if they ever do what they did, drop and run. That you will call the police and CPS and accuse them of abandoning their child. NTA 1. You aren't getting paid, so you don't have any formal obligation. You are not an employee. 2. You gave almost a week's notice that you were no longer available. It doesn't matter why you were not longer available. What if you had gotten sick? Would she have still dumped the baby off at your door? I would hope not. It is her and her husband's responsibility as parents to find childcare. If they can't, then they need to reschedule. NTA. A lot of people are commenting that you are tough for taking your nephew to someone they didn't know. Or not getting sister's permission but she turned off her phone. Your choices were either dropping your plans or taking your nephew to someone you knew would be safe. You took care of your niece while not letting your sister treat you like garbage. Tell your sister that you won't be babysitting for her again. To the family members that butt in, tell them exactly how your sister dropped her daughter at your house after you had told her 5 days earlier you couldn't do it, and that she turned off her phone for hours so you had no choice. NTA. Your sister dumped, and then ran her child on you after you gave fair notice you were no longer available. I get your sister not feeling comfortable with a stranger babysitting, but your plans are no less important than yours. And she's the one that chose to have a child. The only responsibility you have as an aunt is what you choose that to be. Anyone who sides with them, just tell them thanks for agreeing to babysit next time. The difference here for me is that you were doing it for free. You originally told them you might not be able to do it. You gave them 5 days notice that the plans changed. Also, just bolting to your car after dropping off the kid, that's a big no for me. But I would also say need to start standing up for yourself. You're not free daycare. And if you think you might have plans, then tell them no. You don't even need to tell them what you were doing. You just need to say something came up and it's personal. If they pry, then tell them that the nature of the thing is very personal and you can't answer their questions. NTA. NTA. No responsible parent shuts their phone off when their child is in someone else's care. It doesn't matter what your plans were, whether with your silly college friends or not. You gave her ample notice. She chose to ignore it so she could go have fun. I'd rethink ever sitting for them again and point out, when you refuse, that they think you endangered your niece. So why would they even ask?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.